Hey everyone, I hope everybody's well. I'm doing fine, having a wonderful time. I sort of want to talk about something that people might find a bit strange. If you've been sort of following with my videos, you will know that I'm going on to the spiritual side of things, opening myself up to the universe and actually having quite some strange experiences from it. Good experiences, but mind-blowing. So through my videos I've been talking about my friend Heather, and if you have been following, you'll know that she's very gifted, and she has been for many years since she was young. She can see spirits, dead people, she has premonitions, she sees strange beings, and has had some quite freaky experiences throughout her life, and in the end she cut herself off from it. Now she's gone through a lot of abuse. She doesn't mind me talking about this, she's quite open with it, she's an open, honest person. With her experiences and what she feels and what she sees and everything, and her past. She had a very traumatic upbringing. So she's been struggling with her mental health for a long time, and obviously with all these things going on that are strange, she thought that she was going mad, that she was insane. But then, obviously, through time, she got in contact with me, because she knows my mum, and she was best friends with my mum. But all through this friendship with my mum, she had an inkling that things were bad, but she didn't really know what was going on, and she contacted me last year, November time, I think it was, October, November. So started going down seeing her, and obviously we've spoken, and we've both kicked off like a healing in each other, due to the abuse that we've been through separately, but also the abuse that we suffered from my mum as well. So over this past year, she's been, for the first time in her life, moving forward, because I've been helping her with how I've moved forward, how I've been able to heal, talking about narcissistic abuse, toxic abuse, but not just through my mum, through her own family, with her dad, and the experiences that she had when she was growing up. She started learning about conditioning and things like that. But she's an empath as well, very strong empath. And as empaths, we tend to get walked over, treated as doormats, used and abused, and we take it all on ourselves, thinking that we're the problem, and we try and fix it, and we can't. Now, it's not just my mum that she's been with this, she's got other people that do the same to her. People that she's close to, people that she loves. And she's been slowly recognising that they might not mean it in some cases, they might not know that they're doing it, but she's able to recognise what they're doing now, the emotional manipulation, putting on her heartstrings to make her react, to do things for them. And she's realising now and stepping back. And in doing so, obviously, she was the one that gave me my tarot cards, my first set of tarot cards. Well, I have had tarot cards, but years ago, and I lost them. And I always thought, people had to buy them for you. You had to be given your first, a set of tarot cards from somebody else. But you know, that's not the case. So, you know, yeah, she found this out about me and bought me a set of tarot cards, you know, just out of the kindness of the heart. So we started doing readings, and as freaked out as we got with them, I started buying more cards and kicked off my spiritual journey and reawakened hers. She decided to open herself up again because she closed herself off. You know, she forcefully backed away from that side of things because it was freaking her out, you know, and she thought that she was literally going mad. But yeah, once we started talking, we started getting into this and started, you know, putting 2 and 2 together, and instead of coming up with 795, we actually come up with 4, and everything just clicked into place. So we've been following what the universe has been asking us. Now, I've made a video the other week about her having woken up to 4 women in the bedroom. These old women with long salt and pepper grey hair in old clothes, you know, and they didn't say anything. They just sort of, I can't remember what sort of look she said that they gave her, but an indifferent look, and just walked off into the hallway. And apparently these women hung around a bit. At that time I was having dreams of my mum. It was just very strange. She turned up in a dream, and all I did was I've never had a dream like this before. I just walked up to her as soon as I saw her and punched her in the face and knocked her out. And then she wasn't in the dream anymore. And then I had a dream a few days later, and I could just see her in the peripheral of the dream. I knew that she was there. And the reason that I knew that she was there, because I could smell her. I could smell her smell. She's not a very clean person, so yeah. But she didn't come into the dream. And then Heather messaged me saying that my mum had contacted her, asking about me and inviting herself round for Christmas, like she always does, you know. But Heather stood her ground and told her why I haven't contacted her. I said, no, you're not coming around for Christmas. Because my mum, Heather doesn't want any contact with my mum at all. But we sort of like, in between that space of time, had been talking about my mum quite a bit. So we believed that we sort of like invited that energy in. And it was funny because after I told her all this, she woke up again. I texted her to say that I'd come down and go and see her this weekend. And she mentioned that she woke up and she had another, she called him a weird humanoid that was on a bed, and he was riding what looked like a zebra, but it had geometric patterns. And this little humanoid creature, he wasn't threatening or anything like that. He had 2 sets of eyes. And he just smiled at her and went away. So I'd actually got a new set of oracle cards, and I was watching a reading online on YouTube, and the person was using the same oracle cards, and there was this card, and it had a zebra on it with something on top, sat on top of it. So I sent a description with a picture along. Unfortunately, because she's going blind, she couldn't quite make out what it all said, so I'm going to be repeating it to her when I go around to see her this weekend. But yeah, again, she said this morning that she's had this little thing turn up, not non-threatening again, but she said he had a budgie on his head. So it's a mad thing to actually wake up to, but you know, this is what she sees. And I said, well, that's weird, because last night, on my way to the shop, it was absolutely freezing, so there's not a lot of people out. It was dark. It's been very foggy lately. And on the way down to the shop, in the street lights, I could see like a shadow behind me, obviously of somebody behind me following me to the shop. So I crossed the road to where the shop is. It's still quite dark. I can see sort of like the shadow from the street lights of this person, you know, not right behind me, you know, quite further back, because I could only just see like the shoulders and the head of the shadow that would have been cast from the street lights across the road. So I get across the road and I look back and there's nobody there. So I'm like, alright, okay, fair enough. So I'm carrying on walking to the entrance of the shop, and I walk in, get my basket, start walking around, and I'm looking at produce, and I sort of out the peripheral of my eye, I can see somebody and they walk behind me. I feel them walk behind me and come from this side of the peripheral of my eye. So I turn around to look and there's nobody there. I look back that way, there's nobody there. So I carry on and I have this experience again where I'm looking at coffee or something and somebody walks, I see them in my peripheral vision walk beside, around the back and down that way. So I look again and there's nobody there. And I look that way and there's nobody there. There's nobody behind me. And then I actually, well, this woman bumps into me down another aisle. So, you know, she apologises, I said it's okay, you know, she carries on. And I turn around, walk down the aisle. And then something bangs me in the back of my leg. And I think that I've walked into somebody, or somebody's walked into me, so I go around to turn to apologise, and there's nobody there. And then Heather tells me about this little thing that's turned up this morning for her. Yeah, it's a very strange experience. I don't normally have things on that level. It did feel like that there was people around me when there wasn't. Now I've been opening myself up to that side of things as well now. I've asked to invite it in gently, because growing up I was always scared of the dark, you know. I was tortured by my uncle with scary stuff, so you know, I was always afraid of that sort of thing. And over this past year I've sort of like been opening myself up very, very slowly to it all, bit by bit, and as my own psychic abilities have started coming through, I've been inviting it in a bit more, and I have been inviting it in on purpose, even more so the last couple of weeks. So yeah, when she said about this little creature with with a bird on its head, a little budgie, she said, I said, oh, maybe it's a little warning that when I come down that I shouldn't, or we shouldn't talk about certain people. Now, she turned around and she said, well, do you know what, Kaz? I've been realising lately, and I've been stepping back from a certain person. It's one of her friends who's basically in a bit of a helpless situation, but she won't help herself. She plays the victim very well, unfortunately. Whether she knows that she's doing it or not, I don't know. Neither does Heather. But it pulls on Heather's heartstrings because she's an empath. But she gets used as a doormat. So she's recognising when it's happening, how it affects her head, how she feels, because she feels guilty and she feels helpless that she can't do anything for this woman, you know, her friend. And you know, it's like when I go down, this woman expects Heather and myself to go around and see her, but it's only when I go down. And then when Heather says, Kaz has come down to help me, you know, because I've been helping Heather a lot, obviously, because she's losing her eyesight. She can't do a lot of things. She has problems with her spine, so she can't lift. She can't see what she's lifting. She can't see where she's walking to lift stuff. So, you know, she's had people come in to try and help her, but they've taken the piss. You know, they've sort of like taken her for money and left her house in a complete state, you know, and she feels unsafe, and she has done for a long time in there. It's a parent's house, so it was still full of all their stuff as well as her stuff, and it needed sorting out, and there was nobody that was helping her, and it was just creating a bad atmosphere because she felt so unsafe in her own home, and it was horrible, you know. And I couldn't understand why my mum, well, I could understand why my mum hadn't helped her, but, you know, I helped Heather realise why my mum wouldn't help her and what was happening, and that's what started her own healing journey. And I've been going down and helping her sort out a lot of stuff, making her house safe, helping her feel safe in her own home, rearranging furniture so it's easier for her to get around, you know, because obviously she's losing her eyesight more and more as time goes on, so she needs to adapt her home for when the inevitable comes and she can't see at all. And she, you know, she's tried to have these people come in and help her, and they've just taken the piss, taken the money, and not done the job either in a good way or at all. So yeah, I've just been helping her correct that, and obviously going down and creating this bond that we've got now. You know, we are sisters. She is my big sister, I'm her little sister. She's my soul tribe, definitely. She is family. So I was saying to her, well, maybe this little chappie's a warning for us to keep quiet about these people. And she said, yeah, I have been stepping back. I have realised that I'd fallen into that spiral of feeling guilt for not doing what this woman wants me to do for her, even though I can't. So I was like, oh yeah, well maybe this little creature was telling you, you know, to lighten up your load in your head, you know, or he's calling you a bird brain. And she texts back and she says, hey, you're right, Kaz. She says, he's calling me a tit. It's a tit. I actually call myself Tithead. She calls herself Tithead when she's done something wrong, you know, or she realises, oh, you Tithead, you know. Like, I call myself Dickhead. Or Dick. She calls herself Tithead. So I was like, yeah, there you go. It says, the universe sends you signs in a way that only you will understand. And she was sort of like, yeah, God, you're right. And I said, well, you know, I talked to her then about how far she's come in just a year. Just how far, and she, you know, she's replied the same, you know, how far have you come in a year also, Kaz, you know. So would you expect to be doing all this 5 years ago, what you're doing now, helping people and helping yourself and going to college and all this? I was like, oh, no, not at all, you know. 5 years ago, I couldn't even see past 24 hours. I couldn't see past the mental illnesses that I had. And you have to sit there and you have to recognise how far you've come. Even if it's like a weird little creature sat on your bed, a bird on its head. But yeah, the universe will always show you when you ask, you know, it will show you where you need to go in a way that you will only understand. Sometimes it takes you a little bit to work it out, but when you do realise it, it's so funny. And every day I wake up laughing. Every time I see these little signs, you know, I can't help but laugh to myself. I could be in the middle of town on the bus or whatever, you know, surrounded by people, and I'm just giggling away to myself because I see a sign, and it's just like, the universe has such a fucking sense of humour, it's unbelievable. But you've got to open up to it. That's the thing. You know, you've got to have confidence in the synchronicities of things. You've got to sit there and work out the true meaning of things. But you've got to be in that frame of mind that you want to. And don't be frightened. Yeah, there is frightening things out there. People will send you frightening things. Even my friend Heather, she was telling me about a time where she was out sort of like 3 o'clock in the morning with a friend walking home, and obviously just the street lights, and she had the feeling that her and a friend had to walk in the middle of the road, in between, you know, where the light was, because she could sense something on the peripheral. And her mate was like, oh no, I'm walking down this way, because they had to split off in 2 different directions. And she said, then stay in the light, make sure you stay in the light. And her friend was like, yeah, alright, yeah, no worries. And on the way home, her friend obviously didn't stay in the light, but was frightened to death by this creature. And I think she said that she ran back, I can't remember if she said that she ran straight home, or ran straight back to Heather. But Heather could sense this negative energy, and she knew that it wasn't safe if they went in the dark. But yeah, she senses those sorts of things, but she knows when it's a good energy or a bad energy. And I know that there's a few of my friends that have those sorts of energies. My music just gone off. I don't know why my music's just gone off. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, and it's sensing what they are. You can sense it in your belly. Instinct. Instinct tells you if something is good or bad. But you can sense this in people as well. And you just have to put the puzzle together and understand what's going on. You know, we walk around blind for so much of our lives, and we see some things and we put it down to coincidence or going insane. And actually, no, it's not. It's the complete opposite. We are sensing something for a reason. And some of us can actually see what we sense. Some more than others, very much so. And it's just understanding what we're seeing, what we're sensing, and why. So yeah, I'm going to leave that now because I need to get on with my day. Yeah, I need to go do some shopping and go see some people. Go see a man about a dog, as they say. Get myself packed, ready for going to see Heather and wrap her Christmas presents. Because I'm not going to see her over Christmas like I did last year. My daughter's coming down here this year, so I'm cooking Christmas dinner and providing that. Heather's been invited down if she wanted to, but obviously with her sight, she has a dog as well. She's decided that she's going to have a very lazy Christmas for the first time in her life, because she says that every single Christmas, for as far as that she can remember, she's been the one that's had to do everything. Well, I won't say ever since she can remember. Obviously there was her mum that used to do that, but since a certain age, obviously, she's been the one to do everything for Christmas. She's never had a Christmas off. So yeah, she's having a Christmas to herself. She says that she's not going to do any decorations. She might cook some food, but it's not going to be the amount of food that she normally cooks, which, yeah, if you could have seen what she cooked just for me and her last year, and the dog, you'd go, oh, what? It was like she was cooking for 20 people. but as she says, it lasts her a few days, her and the dog. But even then, it was way too much. I did put some weight on. We both did. But it was very nice. But yeah, she says that she's just going to have a simple Christmas this year with her and the dog, just relaxing, chilling out, and yeah, enjoying her own company. So yeah, it's good. But anyway, I've waffled on for long enough about weird, strange things, but they're all there for a reason, and if you listen, they can lead you in the right direction, or steer you away from the wrong direction, you know. But you've got to be open to it, and you've got to be in that frame of mind of wanting to heal, for things to keep going your way, you know. If you keep falling back into habits, old ways of thinking, letting people use you again, you know, thinking that you're the problem again, you know, you start these negative feelings coming up again, then it's time to step back and realise that you've slipped into old conditioning. And when you start doing that on a regular basis, recognising when you've slipped, you can actually start changing your brain. That's how you start unlearning the conditioning, and relearning a better way of living, a better way of thinking, a better way of understanding. You can only understand if you can understand the words. Time to go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I do hope, even though this video's been a bit weird, that some people will see the sense in it. And if anybody knows the name of any sort of humanoid being, small, with 2 sets of eyes, if you know the name, could you let us know? Because we'd like to do a little bit of research. We have tried, but we can't really find anything about it. Whether it's from this dimension, another dimension, another planet. I have no idea. An old spirit, you know. She's pagan, so if there's any sort of like elementals out there that you might know about, a small humanoid with 4 eyes that walks around with birds on the head or rides a geometric zebra, a geometric patterns type zebra, could you let me know, please? I would love to pass the information on, or anything as weird as that. I don't mind that. I am into that sort of things, cryptoids and paranormal stuff. Some of it freaks me out, but yeah, my mind is open to the possibility of all these things. A lot of them are being proven to exist, you know. There's the Bigfoot for starters, Yeti, you know, they are sort of like coming to the idea that it could be a gorilla type humanoid, you know, that's just lived a way that we've not seen, and it is glimpses into a habitat that we don't understand, and the more that we have the technology to see these things, you know, with phones and stuff like that to record it, the more it's been proven to be real. I mean, I did actually watch a documentary where some bloke had actually found a skull, and it didn't come back. Well, I think the documentary ended before any of the tests had been done on it, you know, and things like that. So I don't know how far that had gone along, but it was very strange. Yeah, but there is things out there that we do not understand, very much so, even with the paranormal, ghosts and things like that. And you know, I trust my friend Heather 100% with the experiences that she's had, and there's been other people that I trust 100% with the experiences that they've had, you know. And when it's that close to home, you can't not ignore it, you know. it's just too close to home to ignore, very much so. And when it starts happening to yourself, yeah, you're not going mad. So anyway, yeah, half an hour now. Spot on. Time to go bye-bye.